Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and as we continue through Season of Arrivals, been a fun season, got a lot of stuff to grind for, working on some weapon rolls, working on Solstice of Heroes, which will start next week, got Iron Banner popping up occasionally. We'll have some things to do. We'll also have some lulls and some downtimes as the season got extended, but that's kind of normal. I want them to put up Beyond Light in the best state possible. That being said, there are certain things when it comes to Beyond Light that I actually would like to see change, evolve, and we don't know, so I may eat my words later if some of this stuff is fixed. If it's not touched for another year, I'm going to be kind of sad because some of this stuff needs fixed. So to get started, this is going to be kind of a whole series of videos on the topic, so if you guys haven't subbed to the channel before, please subscribe. Hit that like button if you do enjoy the video afterwards. Hit that alert bell if you want to see the next one in this series. But today, what I want to talk about is something that we embrace every season, kind of deal with every season, and something I'd like to see change, and that's the artifact. So let's talk about it. So first thing, we've got the artifact as kind of addition with Shadowkeep. We've had our mods come in, we've had our bonus power level that we've been able to earn, but we've had the same thing for about a year. Now, what does the artifact do if you guys are fairly new, haven't played Destiny 2 in a while? Basically what it does, it allows you to, throughout your gameplay, outside of the season pass, you're going to get experience, and it's going to go into this as well as your season pass. It's going both directions. What this will do is as you play through the season and you get enough experience dumped into your artifact, you're going to unlock mods that you can choose from, and you'll get a total of 12 that you can pick from. We'll talk about that in a minute. And you also are going to earn a bonus power level. Now, I'm just going to put this in context really quick. There's somebody out there currently this season who has a bonus power level of plus 54. I'm also going to tell you that the experience curve is not linear. I don't know if it's quite exponential, but it is not linear. It gets longer as you go. I'm at plus 16. Usually on seasons, I'll get to like plus 20. I might get to like, 25 if I'm lucky this season, but there's a point where it stops being beneficial to everyone, because if you're 20 levels over any activity, you get no additional benefit from being any higher, because that's the way the game is set up. Any more than 20 over it, you get no additional survivability, any extra damage from it. There's no bonus than being 20 over. So theoretically, if you were going to go do a Master Nightmare hunt or a Master Nightfall, the highest you potentially would ever want this to be is plus 40, which is still something that only a few crazy people go for. Main reason is you would be 20 levels over those activities because those are 1080. Now, annoying thing, topic for a separate video, Grandmaster Nightfalls being 1075, you could be that guy who has plus 54 and he's 1114. Unfortunately, when he goes into activity, the Grandmaster activity looks at him as he's 1075 and he will never be any higher. So again, there's a point where I don't think you should continually earn the experience as high as you can get, because when you get to the end of the season, it's all stripped away and we get a new artifact. Now, when it comes to the artifacts themselves, story and narratively wise, they've actually been kind of cool. We have the Seed of Silver Wings. I don't know what we're going to do with that, but if you picture Season of Dawn, we had the lantern from Osiris, went through the whole season, and then we ended up planting that in the ground and using that as a beacon for the lighthouse and kind of kicking off Trials of Osiris. That was kind of cool. This is the Seed of Silver Wings, related to the tree and the interference mission and all the lore we're getting about the pyramid ships and Eris. I'm hoping we have some way to kind of wrap up the season or a use for our artifact here. Again, generally I like the narrative stuff to it, so I get the idea of like using an artifact and getting a new one. My issue with it is just stripping away our power every time. Now, as you play through a season, maybe it's their way just to give you something fresh and give... Yeah, I don't mind the fact that some people who won't do pinnacle activities, and some of them are easier to do now, so that's less of an excuse at this point. If you do 3 strikes, you can at least get a +1 pinnacle. It may be a slower grind to a pinnacle cap, but you can at least do something for it. You could still work on grinding just bounties and experience if that's the thing you like to do, playing a bunch of strikes, and eventually you get enough experience to get this thing up high enough. They need to figure out somewhere to cap this thing to make sure people don't completely waste their time on it, because anybody going above a certain level isn't getting any benefit. It's just literally trying to get a record for a seasonal max, and as this season got pushed out, you're probably going to have an asterisk next to your name anyway in the record book if you have the highest power level ever, because the season was like 100 days longer than it was intended to be, or 50 or 60 or whatever it was. Either way, power level, while it is cool to get it, helps casual players who aren't going to be able to raid and things kind of help to continue to build their power level up and face harder activities. On the other side, the raid doesn't require anything that high. The dungeon stops at 1060, So if I'm 1060 power level by Pinnacle Gear, and I get this thing up to plus 20, I'm 1080, I'm good. So oddly, half the Pinnacle stuff doesn't even need that high of a power level anyway. That's also a discussion for another day. But I'd like to see how they change this thing for the power level. Maybe cap it. Who knows? I'm not sure, but the forever indefinite thing still always feels a little weird. And also, I'm still not, loving the reset every time. I don't know how they fix that. Just kind of venting. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. Now, the other piece is all about the mods over here on the left. Now, the mods themselves have some potential. Other mods are completely useless. But one of my biggest things is the fact that I can't unlock them all. There are so many of these, I could literally pick one more if I wanted to. But honestly, I don't even tend to use half of them as it is. But there's a lot of these mods that probably could just go. So first request right here, please evolve the mods that you offer with the artifact. Now, I'm going to go by column because that's the best way I can go down them. The first column, and this is another reason why I'd like to see it evolve, change something, because it's been the same thing, almost like identical columns for 4 seasons. If we see the same thing for 4 more seasons, I'm going to be kind of sad about it and just like pretty lukewarm on the artifact after a while. First season is all about the champion mods. Anti-barrier, overload, unstoppable. And this is their way for Bungie to steer you to play with certain weapons. And secondly, when it comes to harder activities, which tend to have champions in them, they're going to steer you to play typically, if you're going to be the one either running it, depending on how you pair up with your team, you can go into a legend nightmare hunt, and you don't know who you're going to get matched up with. So if you're going to go be successful in that activity, you're likely bringing in 2 primaries every time. The other piece is some of the mods, depending on the way the season goes, I don't know if it was worthy or what, when they take the mods themselves and steer you to be almost close range the entire time, like hand cannons, sidearms, auto rifles, and submachine guns for like all of these, that hurts for a season, especially if you're trying challenging activities. So I would like to see them include occasionally a shotgun option, a sniper rifle, a fusion, a special grenade launcher. Let us have other playstyles as opposed to 2 primaries, especially if you need to make sure you've got those 2 covered all the time. Depending on who you're playing with, maybe you'd be like, hey, you've got the anti-barrier, you've got the overload, you guys just make sure you don't die. I'm going to run, a little more high-powered weapons, things of that nature, so we can output a little more damage. It is a way to run that one, but they have yet to touch special weapons at all. I'd like to see them do that. The other piece here is, honestly, I'd like to see this whole column almost go away. The idea that they're like, hey, this season for anti-barrier, the only thing that you can use on anti-barrier is auto rifles and submachine guns. That's it. That's all you can use. Well, what if I want to play in a strike with my friends and we're going scout rifles? Nope, can't do anti-barrier that way. Okay, well, what about hand cannons? Those could be... Nope. They steer you so closely to one thing. If you're going to go play an activity that has anti-barrier, you got to run an auto rifle or submachine gun. Now, both of those weapons are in a pretty decent spot right now. I'm not arguing that I, hate playing with those. My gnawing hunger, I can't put the damn thing down. Still, options would be nice. And I think just general mods like we have for, counterbalance and things of that nature, a general anti-barrier, an overload, and an unstoppable mod, at least for the kinetics, or not kinetics, the primary weapons, all the basic stuff, not the specials, not the heavies, but anything that takes primary ammo should probably have the option to have all 3 of those mods in it at any point. I feel like unlocking these with the season is kind of odd. So I would like to see this whole column leave and just give us 3 permanent mods. So if I switch over to my weapon, and, okay, bad example, but if I switch over here, just like all of these mods right here, just give me one that just says it's anti-barrier, period. Doesn't matter which weapon it is, just let it be there. That's one. So this, I would be okay with it leaving. I'd also see them like to do some variety of trying it out with special weapons as well. They haven't done it yet. I would like to see it. Second column, reload mods or accuracy mods, a rare scavenger mod, mostly for swords. The main thing about this is all of these mods already exist. Every single one of them, though. Even if you go to Enhanced Sword Scavenger, I can pull up my character. Let me go find something with arc. And I can go... Sorry, wrong thing. Scavenger is on boots. So if I go here, I've got Sword Scavenger. Now, do I have Enhanced Sword Scavenger? Maybe I don't have it picked up yet. But if I go to Collections and Mods, maybe it does exist. I'm not entirely sure. So if you go to legs, got scavenger, sword scavenger. So enhanced sword scavenger, that's a nice one. Maybe that's one that they put into the game later on. That's probably like the worst example, so probably should have planned this a little bit ahead. But enhanced pulse rifle loader. I literally have that on my character right now. Only difference is that I can go make it cost +3 or +1. A better way to do this and give you another whole slot here, if you want enhanced scatter projectile targeting, enhanced unflinching auto rifle aim, pulse rifle loader, sword scavenger, and all of these to be this cost, just say in the seasonal patch notes that this season, pulse rifle loader is going to be 1, bow rifle is going to be 1. People are like, oh, well, that's actually a way I can work on kind of doing a pulse rifle bow build. It's going to be cheaper for me to work with those reload mods. Totally an option. But you take an artifact slot out here as well and just change the cost of the mods on a seasonal basis. That cannot be that hard of a data value to change in my head. I could be crazy. I'm not a developer, so I could be completely wrong. But in my head, the value of 3 to 1 for the cost of the mod that already exists, not having to make another mod, but just a mod that we already have, just change the cost of it in your armor. That's literally all you'd have to do for the season. It's 5 mods, and this column is gone. This column, you could probably remove entirely, and I don't think anybody at all would miss it. 1, I'm never going to use these mods, and 2, if I ever wanted to use these mods, I'm never going to reset my artifact to do it. I'll get to the reset at the end, but if I'm going to pay money to get to all these, it's kind of annoying. But all these do is, depending on what weapon you use or which enemy you kill, you're going to be getting Glimmer. Now, most of the time, if you play the game enough, you're not really running out of Glimmer. We have a cap on Glimmer, so we can't even, like, store up 2 million Glimmer. So there's really not a benefit to these mods anyway. And then on top of that, I'm going to go for anything that functions over something with Glimmer. Now, say I was at Spider, there was something I need to farm a bunch of materials for, and I used all my Glimmer. Maybe I wanted to try and earn it back. I'm going to go play some Prophecy Dungeon with friends. Cool. Well, you know, I can put Taken Combatants, give me a chance to drop a small amount of Glimmer. Great. Sounds good. Here's the issue. I'm not going to, especially if I use all my, I have 1 to use, which I haven't used, but I'm not going to reset my artifact to 20,000 Glimmer or more as it continues to get more expensive, just to pick all of these mods, pick this thing, earn a little bit of Glimmer, and then switch back to whatever mod I was using before. What I would like to see, and this is why this one brings this up, is you to be able to unlock every mod on the artifact. Now again, I'm saying that I would like the artifact to change a lot, so that's stage 1. But 2, you should be able to unlock them all. Now, I'm not the first person to say this. I know other people probably have. But again, I would like to see you be able to unlock every single little mod in here, because you look on this one. Class, 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 class. They're all class item mods. It's not like I can use all 5 of them at the same time. I still have to pick. The most I could ever do, of which I still could unlock Guardian Angel and use one of these others, is use these 2 together on a class item, and then my class item's pretty shot, so it's going to be used anyway, but it at least would let me vary my playstyle, mix things up if I want to go Solar, or I want to go Arc, or I want to go Void. It's going to let me, as I change my playstyle, the mods we have are interchangeable for basically next to no cost anyway, but if I want to change my playstyle and I've already picked my mods, I have to go in here, reset it, pick them all again, and keep charging myself Glimmer. Not a fun process. If you can level this thing up as high as you want, or to 20 to 25, you should be able to unlock every single slot on this thing and just let me toy around with them. It would let more people use different things. It would let more mods probably get used and experimentation with builds, as opposed to saying, hey, what's the YouTubers say is the best mods to get? Okay, here they are. I'm just going to leave them, not worry about the rest. So I will never reset just to use a Glimmer mod, but I can tell you if it was a point where I could unlock them all and I'm like, hey, I'm going to use Taken, I could throw this thing for, like, you know, 1 cost on my legs, earn a little more Glimmer as I help some friends with Prophecy. Cool, not so bad. I would do that potentially if I'm not as worried about trying to, like, you know, solo flawless something and I need some Glimmer. Yeah, I'd do that. But if I have to choose it over anything else, never will. So literally 3 slots could go away at this point. We're down to the last 2. I feel like George Carlin when he's talking about the 10 Commandments. If anybody knows that reference, let me know. The 4th column is where we start to get to basically your variety of other ways to handle champions. Now, this could be something they could at least experiment with the artifact and do some things with. Become charged with light whenever when you or a member of your fire team staggers, disrupts, or pierces, you know, champions. Basically, if you mess with a champion, you knock them out for a second, you become charged with light. If you're running a charged with light build, not bad. but you're also waiting to find champions, which there's not that many. Even if you do like Master Nightmares, there's still only so many, so it's not going to happen that often. So becoming charged with light just for that still doesn't feel worth it. Now, this mod right here almost makes me mad because it opens a door to a whole different video discussion. Aiming pulse rifles down sights loads a high impact burst that staggers unshielded enemies. Basically, it's going to mess with unstoppables. You have the same thing down here. The difference is this goes on the pulse rifle, and this one goes on your arms. And what this one allows you to do is use a exotic pulse rifle and still have the unstoppable effect on it because it's not on the weapon. To fix this one, for example, and I've been ranting about this probably for an entire year, they need, as I just said, take these mods, make them permanent, and give a slot to all exotic weapons. Maybe these, and then these are only accessible on your primary weapons, but let me go pick, hey, I want to go use Graviton Lance. Well, let me go put an unstoppable mod in there. I'm not going to ask for other mods. Like, I'm not going to go for backup bag, target adjuster. Exotics are very finely tuned, but let me use the champion mods. They are not going to do anything but allow me to use a different primary in activities that have champions. Otherwise, I'm using legendaries constantly, and everybody puts a heavy in their exotic slot. It's all you force us into. Take this away and put it away. Down here, void grenades cause disruption, solar melee stagger enemies, and you grant melee and grenade energy when you do final blows with barriers. All of these are related to certain mods. Yeah, they're going to kind of steer your playstyle depending on what you go through, but kind of okay. I'm okay with this column kind of being here, varying up playstyles. Like to see a little more variety on it. Stuff like this should be on guns, but I don't hate this column. It's got some place. I could see some uses steering to, like melees and grenades and stuff like that. Okay. So this column's kind of okay, but I can't unlock them all, so I'm going to still experiment less because you have to get 0, 1, 4. You have to unlock 7 mods to unlock this one. Then you have to unlock 10 to unlock this one, and you can pick 2 on the final column. So you could potentially get a lot of them here, but you got to get quite a few over here, and especially if you need different weapons for different activities, you're going to need most of these mods. So column 4, kind of okay. Column 5, here is where the fun stuff's supposed to be. Oppressive Darkness is one everybody seems to use. They're running Oppressive Darkness. They get the weaken effect on the enemies with the void grenades. Cool. Not bad. Seems kind of fun. Had the same thing in season... crap, I'm trying to remember. Season 8? 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. Season 8 with Shadowkeep launches. We have the same mod. Now, they said at some point, some of the mods that are favorable, that people enjoy, they might bring them permanently into the game. Obviously, people like this one. Everybody runs it. So find some way to make it a permanent mod and put it in the game permanently. That is another addition that they've talked about, and they haven't done it for a year. If we get no new mods, besides like reloaders and other things, give us some mods that will let us play with our builds more and make them permanent and don't make them tied to the artifact. Use your artifact as you wanted, as your 3-month experiment to see how it goes. Is it worth it? Is it the right cost? Is it too overpowered? Then, take the seasonal artifact away, take it with you. If you take it away, it's fine, but that's a whole different discussion. But then, take 3 months, tweak it, see if anything, maybe it costs a little more, maybe the damage is a little less, and then put it in the game as a permanent thing. Wouldn't that be nice to see some of these mods be permanent? Solar Plexus. Increased damage on all solar melee abilities. In theory, okay, not bad. Gain super energy from performing finishers with a solar subclass. You're going to be going solar anyway. You get more super from finishers. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's fine. I can see some uses. Melees are kind of risky, so it's kind of a give and take. I can't stand this one. Honestly, it bugs me. It's either it costs too much or it's too much super for one heavy ammo brick. And if you run scavenger mods in other places, you're going to be getting heavy ammo anyway, which most people are probably going to want their anarchies, their xenophages, whatever they're running with. Either dumping half your super into a heavy ammo brick doesn't feel like it's worth it. On the other side, it costs 7 energy on a class item, which takes away a lot of functionality on your class item, which is one of the armor pieces that has a decent amount of variety. So you're giving up a whole lot to get some heavy ammo, and kind of a thing. And you have to finish an enemy. You don't always get to do that, but when you do, you lose half your super. So it's a lot of costing too much in some direction. Maybe it costs less energy, but the super, maybe it costs less energy on your armor, but the super's up, still the half. Or maybe it's less super energy, but the energy cost is there because they got to have a give and take. Heavy is powerful. I'm not arguing that, but overall, This one, I just don't ever find it worth the cost on both ends. It's too much on both ends right now. Down here, you got Volatile Conduction. Gain bonus super art super damage if cast while critically wounded. I've seen this in different seasons as well. If I want bonus super damage, and I don't know the percentage, somebody would have to probably tell me below in the comments, but I have to wait till I lose my entire shield and I get to my oh crap moment where I feel like I'm almost going to die. That's when I have to cast my super. How do you plan for that? Are you like, okay, everybody get ready. I'm going to take a few shots from this enemy. I just got killed. Damn it. Never mind. Okay, everybody get ready. I'm going to take a few shots from this enemy. Throw your Oppressive Darkness. Okay, now the enemy's missing me. Okay, you got Oppressive Darkness. Well, I need this guy to hit me a little more. Then I'll cast my super. Okay, now I missed my window. It's a hard thing to use, and it costs 6 energy. Now, if it was something I could experiment with, maybe, but generally waiting till you're critically wounded for any benefits around things, and you don't want to try and die. That seems rough. So, overall, don't love this one. Now, down here, this one only costs 3 energy. It has potential. Guardian Angel grants a chance to generate healing orbs, which would just probably drop on the ground. On Scout Rifle, which we're not using this season for any of the mods. Sniper Rifles, definitely a special weapon, so no champion mods there either. Bows, it is actually on the left over there, so there's a little bit of synergy. And Linear Fusion Rifles. Well, yep, definitely no champion mods there. So, on Precision Final Blows, Scouts aren't in a good spot. Those need some help. Sniper Rifle's not bad, but in PvE, they get outshined by a lot of stuff. Linear Fusion's okay, but not a lot of people using them. So literally, bows is the only thing where this might be a thing. You could be running it on an overload, you know, get some faster reload. Maybe. Okay, got a little bit. And it's only 3 energy. This one is something I can kind of wrap my head around. Just kind of need some of the weapon archetypes listed on here to get a little bit more love. Or maybe just like, you know, get a low chance on Precision Final Blows. Precision being the key. You maybe get a healing orb on any type. Open it up a little bit. So as you guys can tell, I know this is a long rant about an artifact, but we've had them for a year, and I think it's time to hear about some changes. The mods themselves, as you guys can see, I can almost eliminate these entire 3 columns, make these permanent, just change the cost for the season, and the Glimmer stuff is useless if you can't earn all of them. These 2 are kind of fun, so give me a little more variety, evolve the artifact, let me earn them all, figure out the whole power level cap or not. It's been a year on the artifact, and I think it's time for us to see some changes. So this is my rant about the artifact. I would like to see some changes, some more creativity on the mods, some more helpful mods in these different columns. Maybe it's only 4 columns, but you have a lot better mods to pick from. I would be okay with that. All of these things would be things I think that would give the player more reason, and especially if you could unlock them all, to keep playing. If you could unlock more builds, if you could get different options to play with, the more you play, the more you continue to unlock different stuff. That's another reason to continue to keep people in your game. That's what you're going for. So that's my rant about artifacts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's a long, rambling one, but Beyond Light, you know, I'm sure all of that's pretty much in development anyway, so this is pretty much all for naught. But maybe down the road, they'll you know, take some of this stuff with a grain of salt. We'll see. But thank you guys very much for listening. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like below. Leave a comment if you got questions, if you have thoughts about anything that I talked about. And also, if you have wants for things that you would like to see change in Beyond Light as well, let me know for topics of future videos like this, and I would be happy to kind of go over, you know, a deep dive on that topic and see what you guys think about it as well. So thank you guys very much. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, Ebontis on both, right here on YouTube. Thank you guys very much. We are almost at 50K subs. So if you haven't subbed yet, hit that and the alert bell. You guys are fantastic. Have a good one. Enjoy Iron Banner, and I'll probably be seeing you guys in the European Aerial Zone next week. At least that's what we hear. See you soon.